Gonna build a mountain from a little hill. Gonna build a mountain, least I hope I will.
Hi, and welcome to Rise and Shine with Sue at the Hub Cafe. RISE stands for Resilient Individuals Supporting Each Other, and this is where you're going to hear from businesses who provide services and support for parents and caregivers of children with special needs. It all starts now. Welcome to Rise and Shine with Sue at the Hub Cafe. Children's Disability Support Network is so pleased to present people and to shine a light on people and organizations that provide services for you, for our audience, and for our parents out there. And we've got a very special guest right now. And just as a caveat, we've got Kara Murray with us. And I'm, as you know, a realtor as well. And one of the things that I come across often is finding accessible homes for my clients. And Kara's going to talk to us about the information that she provides and that she is of service and offers to you, in case you wanted to either buy new or even renovate something that you need based on your needs. So, Kara, welcome. So glad to have you here today. And so just again, tell us who you are and what service do you provide?
Great. Well, thank you for having me out to talk. So my name is Kara Murray, and I have about 25 years experience supporting families with a loved one with a developmental disability. And I'm still doing some of that on the side, but I have joined the Alair Homes team a couple years ago. And so we're doing custom homes, we do renovations. And what I'm really excited about is actually merging my two worlds, which is being able to provide custom homes and renovations for people who, them or their children, have some sort of physical needs or challenges that we can address through their building and their home.
Mm-hmm. So can you give me some examples? Because I know personally, whenever I do show homes to clients who have a wheelchair, depends on if it's a manual wheelchair or electric wheelchair, just the width of doors or ramps. There's so many things that a lot of people take for granted, heights of counters. So can you share with us maybe some examples of what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess the first thing that we like to do, right, is obviously get to know the clients of ours and work with them on what it is that they need in their home, right? So people can say they do universal design, but does that fit the actual needs of the people who are living there? So we like to really get to know the person and find out where we can help. Usually people do think a lot of the wheelchairs. So that is typically a big one. Wheelchairs or scooters or walkers, anything that can help bear weight. So some simple things, I shouldn't say necessarily simple, but some things to consider is, unfortunately, it's very in right now, are the wet rooms. So like a shower that you can kind of wheel in, they tend to be bigger. So what's nice about those is even if you have to have somebody go in and help with some personal care, there's the space to do it. And when they're lipless and they don't have the curve on it, you can get the wheelchair in and out quite easily, but it's easy for anybody, right? Like you can put in the non-slip tiles. So even people who are walking that might be elderly or might be more prone to slip or have less balance, that they have tiles that are more grippy. So I mean, that's something simple like that you can do. I find children are often neglected when we are designing homes, right? I remember being little and I couldn't reach the light switches because they were so high. And when you have a kid that's like me that was scared of the dark, it's not the most useful thing. So, taking into consideration those children's needs, lowering the light switches is a good one. Sometimes even the type of colors and the flooring you use, the patterns, right? If some kids have sensory issues or epilepsy or Parkinson's, there's certain patterns that can actually trigger things in the brain. So you want to, be cognizant of that. Those are some of the, just some of the more well-known ones. Obviously, there are things like ramps and elevators, which are quite expensive to put in an elevator after the fact.
Yeah.
So to suggest if you're building brand new and maybe you don't need it right away, you can still rough it in and use closet space. We can always use closet space, but then actually putting in a smaller elevator at that point is much more cost effective. But just lifts tend to be a good option. They're cheaper than ramps, and they tend to look blend in a little bit nicer with the surroundings. And I think that's the key point that I would like people to think of too, is often we think accessibility and we think sterile, we think, metal, not very aesthetic, we think hospital type setting.
Institutional
And
types.
yeah,
Right? Yes.
institutional, exactly. And what I love about universal design is the idea that we can actually be functional and we can meet the needs of those people that need to be able to access their home, but we can also have it still be very pretty. We can still have it look nice. We can still have it blend in seamlessly. I mean, what designers and engineers can do nowadays is amazing. And I don't think we're using it to that full potential, right? My dad had knee surgery, so he had 2 knee replacement surgeries, and he lives in a 4-level split. And so I saw firsthand from right, like 6 months, because it was like 3 months and 3 months, he was out of commission in this 4-level split. And so, there's we're all an accident away too, right, from having a short-term or a long-term disability. So I saw how he was suffering in his house, like his house, right? And how he was limited in what he could do. And, your home is your sanctuary. That's where you're supposed to feel like, this is where I'm safe. And, for children or adults with disabilities that are struggling in their own home, that's their sanctuary. So to me, it's a real personal thing to me, working with people for 20 years that are, have disabilities, and now building homes. And so I really like to be able to mesh the two and take what I've learned, and I'm learning from both fields, and being able to sort of combine that and help support people to have a house that they feel comfortable and safe in, and that they're proud of, right? That it's been designed for them in mind and their needs, not trying to fit them into some sort of cookie cutter spec home that is just sort of what everybody else has, right? So
Yeah, and there's a lot of cookie cutter houses out there for sure. Well, Alair Homes has a lot of options for you. And like I said, for either new builds or renovations and for whatever your needs are. And Kara is really good at sitting down and finding out exactly what you need. And so just before we go, Kara, do you have maybe one little nugget of something that you just want to share with the audience just before we go?
yeah, and I think don't settle. Like, if there's something that you're struggling with, reach out. There's people that might have some ideas. Even at Alair, we're a team, right? We work with occupational therapists, architects that specialize in it and stuff. So my thing to you is don't settle. If there's something in your house that's not quite meeting your needs, at least look into it. There's the possibilities, are endless. And even if you can't maybe do exactly what might be required, there might be some brainstorming in between that can still give you some solutions. So, and you can reach out to me if you have any questions. I'm more than happy to connect you to people who might have more information, or to help myself.
Exactly. Yeah, I know that we work together too. And so between the two of us, we've always got really, really good supports and options out there for people who need it. Sometimes they don't know what question to ask, so we could actually help with that too. But Alair Homes is amazing. I've worked with them and highly recommend them. And I just want to thank you, Kara, for being here today. And we're going to be putting all of her information below our video here, so you'll be able to know how to contact her. So thank you again. Thank you so much for being here. I love sharing and shining lights on really good people in our community. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Gonna build a mountain, gonna build it high. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, only know I'm gonna try.
Well, that's all for today, friends. Thank you for joining us. We are so pleased that you are here, and we hope that we've given you some great information and that we have inspired you. So feel free, reach out if you have any suggestions for future topics or guests on our podcast, or if you would like to be a guest on Rise and Shine with Sue at the Hub Cafe. Don't forget to tell your friends about us, subscribe, like, and share. And remember, it takes a village, so let's do this together. You are not alone. Bye for now.